Boom, we are alive, ladies and gentlemen. It is a rainy evening here in the jungle. If you hear, you can hear the little water droplets falling all around. If you want to learn how to trade well, you should learn how to be like the cloud. Accumulate and distribute. Accumulate and distribute. It sounds like one of the easiest things to do. Buy low, sell high, but that's what we're going to be going over today. We're going to be taking a look at Ethereum, my new market leader, as market money movers seem to have stronger hands in that particular ecosystem. We're going to drop in, take a look at Bitcoin, as well as go over our Binance play, just to stay on some up-to-date stuff. I'll go over also as well IOTX as a comparison, as some of the private members had traded that one. Make sure you stick around to the end of the video as well, because we're going to be, all of this stuff can be so useful. We're just going to keep it as condensed as possible. So let's dive in and start by taking a look at Ethereum on the 1 week chart. So here we go. Beautiful, beautiful Ethereum 1 week chart. Okay, this is one of a clearly well laid out plan by market makers to acquire more Ethereum. So one of the things we have troubles doing as retail investors is realizing that it takes maybe 800 days of accumulation for a bull run to start. This is where we feel this kind of hope feeling. We've talked about it before in market cycles, and what's important to remember is that you start not to believe it, like, oh, this can't be it. We've been in a basically a sideways trend for Ethereum for almost 2 years. It's not going to blow up. It's not going to happen now, right? That's a great moment. Actually means we're very close to where we want to be moving into next. Now, one of the things that's important here is the patience for the outlook for how long this takes, because it allows you to save so much time and make very, very important pivotal entries just as you need to be making them. So as we zoom down closer and closer into this regression channel that Ethereum's currently been moving through, we can see that we found support on this second regression line. Now, we've seen many times for all the private bear family where we've gone over and we've seen this change, and it sometimes comes down to the top of the box. But this regression channel, this red one here at the bottom, is actually the more likely case scenario. Now, that would put us at approximately $280 to $290 Ethereum if we broke that now. And if we didn't, and what I kind of suspect is going to happen, is we're actually going to see sideways movement through the box in what becomes a reaccumulation channel right through here. Now, we went over this yesterday, and then we're going to go over it again today, because what we want to do when charting like this is constantly confirm or change our thesis based off the new information of the day, recognizing that this takes months and months to unfold from the spring to now. You're looking at 180 days from the pandemic to basically where we are now. This is quite normal, even in older market cycles, where spring actually happens in the spring and the first part of fall happens in the fall. You find a reaccumulation. There's elections in November, December, and then we change outwards into this as well. So the important part here is understanding the time frame that we have to play in. The more clearly we understand how much time we have, the more capital we can devote to our particular assertions in a play. Most of the time, what we end up wanting to do is just throw everything all at once. What do I have to? I've got. If you had this much money today, what could you invest in that would go up? Blah, blah, blah. Don't do that. That's far too emotional. What you want to do is be able to think like Comp Man and create a well laid out campaign and execute it with a significant amount of time in your horizon, because this is what the large market operators have been doing back since November 2018. They have been accumulating Ethereum and acquiring all of the supply that's out there. So one of the current theses is that a lot of people think is that when Bitcoin goes down or Bitcoin goes up, everything else goes down. Well, let's take a look at IOTX here, which is up 17% today. Now, hats off to the Bear family members that traded this one. So while I'm talking about the Bear family, if any of you haven't got your welcome email yet, please check your spam folders. I will be sending out another email probably tomorrow morning, just to make sure everyone finds their way around. And we're going to be doing like a $250 giveaway in the private bear dens too. So there's only a few hundred of you, but we're going to be giving away a few $250 in Bitcoin to one of you for winning this next kind of giveaway. You have to do something. You have to fill out a form. But that's it. It's anyways, we'll move on from that. But to the Bear family members that made this trade, yes, I know Jerry and Rasher both played this one. And this is the highlight of how powerful a community can be. I'm just one person, but the community is able to aggregate and learn and go through so many things all at once that we can make many trades. But look, here, even in the downtrend and the volatility against this entire sector, and for the last 30 days, you've seen an uptrend from IOTX. That's fantastic. 40 days at an 82% gain. So we actually had this one charted out. It was Jerry, one of our Bear Den administrators, who helps me chart some of these things, and Rasher also was in these early days. This was July 22nd. You can see up at the top. And notice here, I can't edit this. This is always stuck this way. So any of the trades that we mapped out, this is the way they're stuck. So IOTX is breaking into the top of that backup phase. We saw this kind of boom right to the POC line, and then a nice breakout from the POC line forward. This was a characteristic, beautiful play. A year, too. From July, basically August to August. Very, very consistent with what we're looking for on these longer time frames. So even though Bitcoin could go down to 3,000 or 4,000, and I've said this yesterday, that my conjecture here is that Bitcoin's hands are still erratic, that you have a lot of weak, or let's say retail investors' hands who get scared at the slightest bit of anything. Big market money, though, doesn't. They have an enormous amount of capital. If they want to acquire in a position, they're going to just do so. So what we had done was we had actually looked at Bitcoin, and we had gone over the fact that it looks very clearly to be an accumulation range, just not a very well defined one. And I think the definition here is important. There it is. The definition here of the Bitcoin accumulation range is important because, again, I just want to highlight this to complete the thesis, is that here was a buying climax, a distribution phase, our primary selling, primary supports, our secondary climax, our automatic rally, our secondary test, our spring, our test, and our first LPS. Now, because there's weak hands that let's be nicer. Look, a lot of early people who had never invested in anything, never owned stocks, nothing like that, bought Bitcoin because of the technology and the potential for freedom from having to use a dollar or a currency that your government gave you. Here, you can have a choice. You can use Bitcoin, you can use Litecoin or Digibyte or whatever you would like. You can make your pick between the technologies, and they're mostly open source. It's a fantastic thing. So because of that, there's a lot of people that entered into this space that have no idea about investing. So at the first sign of weakness or strength, they get emotional and they start liquidating. Now, this is a really important part here again, too, is if we start to move in a little closer to Bitcoin, and this is what you want to keep an eye on, and this is what we'll go over next, are some of these smaller areas of what could be accumulation or distribution. So we've been falling here in Bitcoin, right? Quite clearly. Normally that would bother me because I would feel the uncertainty of Bitcoin leading the way, but I don't right now. What I do feel is the consistency with the large market operators that are investing in this space and showing me this footprint, because it's not just here in Ethereum. If we look at our Binance trade, which is doing well today, we go into the 15. Let's take a look at the larger picture actually first, just so it's a little clearer. Here we are on the daily, right? Buying climax, primary support, selling climax, automatic rally, secondary test, spring test, LPS are likely coming next. But again, what you guys want to get used to finding is this: the market low, the accumulation area, the uptrend, and the distribution area, because you want to be selling up here. You don't want to be holding through this. You want to be buying through this. You want to be selling up here, sell, and you want to buy down here. But this isn't human nature. Human nature says, oh, look for a partner that's up here doing really well. It doesn't say look for a partner who's in the gutters, and then when they start to do really well, ditch them. Right? So generally, this not exactly this clear, cut and dry, oh, there's just a bottom and a top. We're actually looking often at multiple market indicators. So I've actually like to draw this out too as a kind of common market cycle theory, which is that you have a big accumulation range, you have your first breakout, you have a reaccumulation range, and then you move into distribution later on. So we're going to be going over in some of our next lessons this reaccumulation area because it's important. But currently, where we are in Binance is down here in this accumulation area after a buying climax, right? So we were up here, we came down here, right? Super simple. It looks like I've drawn something phallic. Maybe that's just what happens in these market cycles. You have up things and down things. So this type of cycle, this type of movement, we want to keep looking for, and we need to give ourselves enough space, remembering that this takes a year, sometimes more, for this downtrend to really take place. So I started accumulating my Binance position here in the test right after the spring. This is, I feel, the safest place to start my position. Everything else is more risky as you go up, but the potential is much higher, as we've seen in other backup phases. The least risky potential is entering from the test with a stop loss basically at the lower portions of your box here. But again, this is based off the idea that we're going to go up here like this and break out even further. I was doing some regression charting on Binance token earlier too, and as you can see, our first layer of support here lines up quite nicely at around 38,000 Satoshis. And then there's actually some way crazy out there stuff we could see too, which is like up near 50 to 70,000 Satoshis. Binance has a really big composite man playing in it. The more you watch these guys, the more you'll be able to identify it. The day, like 5 hours before the news that they dropped about new features coming in, the price got slammed down, 14% down in the box, boom. An hour later, the price is up 15 to 20% almost, and then they release the news. This to me is a clear indicator that Compman is here. Now, most people think, oh, something happened in the news in Tron and that's why it blew up. No, that's incorrect. Market Man was accumulating Tron and he knew that news was coming. In fact, he was the one who was going to release the news most likely. The people who have enormous amounts of capital in this game are also the people that are helping make the news for this cycle. They can afford to do it and they know it's coming. It's not the news breaks the cycle. The cycle's already been created and the news becomes a part of Compman's game. It's very likely we'll see even a continuation of this. Part of this big spike up that we saw into the first portion of our regression channel was based off the fact that now you can stake Binance. It's got a liquidity pool. It's turning into a DeFi token. They're going to have a decentralized index, and you can use that pool likely to be rewarded with anything that goes to their launchpad, blah, 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 blah. The fundamentals look great. Long term, anything can happen, right? Fundamentally speaking, what we're looking for is here's the upstroke, here's the downstroke, and here's the upstroke again. And again, it's usually likely like a reaccumulation area here is what they tend to look like. And then the distribution. You want to be selling here. You want to be getting rid of almost all of your positions unless you're staking and you like how much you're getting paid for staking Binance. And who knows, maybe it goes even higher. And that's where these regression lines kind of come in handy. It's just kind of predicting our future outlook. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. Who cares about profits when all we need to do is clearly identify this sector, and then we become much better at finding when we should enter, and then from there being able to exit. Very different focuses, but all equally important. So, where does that leave us? I think that everyone needs to come to a very calm and concise and succinct or poignant approach to trading and investing. Everywhere you go is the hype of just buy now, blah, 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 everything's going, when is the last time to buy? Is it going to be on 10 grand again ever? The reason why dollar cost averaging in is a great idea is if you have found a long-term winner, you can just let that winner ride and you can keep investing in it. Easy plan, great play, nothing wrong with that. But someone who's seen so much momentum, it doesn't make any sense for me to do that when I can spend my time over the last year doing whatever I want. And then once I get to these spring areas, I can start accumulating everything and do really well. Because I normally would have never invested in Tron, but I had a position in Tron for this. Do you know why? Well, because there is very clearly this phaseology. I don't give a what Tron is. It doesn't matter anymore. I'm going to make money from it. I'm not married to an idea. I'm not a cultist about technology. I'm here to acquire more capital and more assets, right? Leave some on the table. Let it ride. Look, Tron could still go up further. It could go up even higher into a wave 2, right? I don't like that, but there it is again. Here's a smaller accumulation range back here if you want to identify that, but buying climax, right here, right? Again, up, down, up, likely a reaccumulation, and then another up. And I'm not this high, but you get the idea. So one of the things I want to go over lastly was for anyone new that signed up. I realize some of you guys are new to TradingView and might not know how to do some of this stuff. So it's actually really simple. I'm going to use this last little bit as an educational portion. I should have told you that at the beginning so you knew what you're sticking around for. But I try my best. We go, we learn, and we'll do it again over anyway. So here, let's actually go back to IOTX because here's IOTX. See, remember, it doesn't matter if Bitcoin's going down or not. If there's something that has very limited supply, CompMan is going to mark this up, and and there's gains there. I know a bunch of the Bear family made profits off this one, so hats off to you guys. At 60% now. It's fantastic. I love that. All you have to learn how to do is on the top left-hand corner, you've got two things. You've got this button, which you can drag your screen around with, and you've got this one, which you can draw lines on with. Now, when I go to my Bitcoin chart or when I go to my IOTX chart, one of the things most people have is this. They have candles, green and red candles. I hate it. It's ugly. It's disgusting to me. So when I go here is on the top left-hand corner where there is the candles button, I go to area chart. Yeah, remove that noise, that nonsense technical data that just makes it hard to make a decision. Here we go. Here's a decision. Right at the bottom of box C, I want that. Yeah, I want that test, that spring right there. Yummy, yummy. I know what looks good. It's a spring right after a pandemic, because when do they tell you to buy? When there's blood in the streets. And there were literally blood or bodies in the streets for some of this. So remember, this is important. The spring, you can look for it. This is when you should start your buying campaign. Next time when there's something big that goes on and it goes negative and all the prices drop to the bottom, start accumulating. Pretty simple, right? At least it sounds that way. So again, draw a line over a chart. Let's go find one that's actually not where it was one. Is there one I haven't done yet? Let's see. XRP. No, I've even done XRP to some degree. BCH. Okay, I never finished BCH. I don't even want to, but let's draw it together here anyways. I draw a line this way. And there is no automated chart for this, guys. You have to draw it in all by hand. And get good at identifying these. Like, you should be able to do it with your eyes closed. Like your primary support, your selling climax, your automatic rally, your secondary test. Now the next thing over here is just clicking your letter button. And then you go, okay, this is my primary support. I want to put, look, a border, a background, a text wrap. I don't know. It's no background border. Yeah, that looks sexy. Okay, what is primary support? Primary support was probably back here. Selling climax is probably here. So let's change that lettering. It's pretty intuitive, and just practice this stuff, guys. Take that extra time, really do the homework. We'll produce some more videos and PDFs about helping everyone get caught up to speed, because I realize there's a variation, but in general, TradingView is really simple. We might even do a video just on how to use TradingView and get your way around it. A lot of people too, the other things that, they're like, oh, the Elliott waves and Fibonacci, that stuff, it'll get in your way right now, guys. Just learn how to do this. Simple enough. Find a chart. It's in accumulation around a year time frame. Chart it up. Bring it back to the private bear den so we can help you fine tune. That's what a mastermind group is for. Everybody's helping everybody learn more about everything, right? That means there's more of us going through the same process so we can all learn more faster. It's amazing to me. I should even open Discord here. But here in Discord, see, everyone's sharing their charts, they're growing ideas, they're trying to learn more. But what's crazy is all the people charting, they're making their own plays. Like here's Bear Dan Jerry. Yeah, Bear Dan Jerry and his syndicator play. Here's another great one that we had pumped out, OX. Here's another way to look at it from Baloo. So our members, what's nice is that everyone works together so more gets done. That's an incredible value. Aside from all the educational stuff that we go over, I think it's really important to understand what it means when people work together. So here's another great one by Bear Dan Jerry. This is game credits, this rising gradient bottom. So again, I want to thank all the new private members who have joined. If you haven't gotten your welcome email, please email info@arcanebear.com so I can help you out. I definitely want to be able to help you guys. If something's gone wrong or whatever you want, I'm there to help. We'll get through this, okay? We'll put the foot down and we'll make a difference here. If you want to join, you can join the links below. But that's secondary at this moment. I'm really just looking forward to make sure everyone that's already joined is taken care of, comfortable, and finding their way around the cool Discord chat, the live trading stuff, and learning together. And it's one of the fascinating things, again, is the power of the group. When everybody's focused on learning this stuff, we are all significantly more successful together. Because when I see Jerry make a good trade in IOTX and Rasher make a good trade in IOTX, I'm like, yeah, guys, I wasn't in that one, but I'm rooting for you, right? I saw you enter. I saw you make your posts. I'm like, I can't make all the trades, right? I'm not comp man. I don't have $100 million to drop in everything. Or maybe I will one day. But that's the point. You need to be able to make multiple entries into almost everything if you want to play this game at scale. But if you can't, we go through comparative analysis, strength comparison, which we'll start to get more into as the next educational PDFs come out. So just stay relaxed, guys. We've got a long time ahead of us here. We're just getting warmed up. We're in a very, very early stage here, and I think it's quite noticeable with Ethereum. The majority of the market has no idea that we're in a bull market yet. They don't know yet. To me, it's clearly defined. As soon as we hit this backup regression and we turn around one more time in Ethereum, 100% bullish in my mind. I don't even care at all anymore what Bitcoin does, because the money makers, the people that know how to move hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars around, they're here, and this is their footprint. Stay with the Arcane Bear. Give us a thumbs up if you like this content. Leave your thoughts, your questions, your comments down below. Sound should be better this time. I move around quickly. Things happen. I appreciate all your guys' support, and welcome to all the new subscribers from the podcast at Lark. Seriously, thank you guys so much. Over 1,400 new channel subscribers. Thumbs up for subscribers. I really appreciate that, guys. I appreciate you sticking around for the end of this video. Again, if you guys have any questions, we'll do our best to help you out, and if need be, even produce more educational content, because we're so early on in this. We've got enough time to do both. So I thank you guys. We're gonna give you my face one more time. I go and give you the fondest thumbs up, and then we're gonna give you my favorite of favorites, the Arcane Bear logo, our emblematic of foraging, so you can store through the winter, and once you see that spring come up, you start gathering berries and salmon. I'll see you guys again on the other side.